This is HRap B from Built for This Network. This is the End of the Bench podcast. Thank you for tuning in. This is a podcast, as I say every week. What does that mean? That means you can catch it on any of your podcast outlets, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you download your favorite podcast. I'd like to salute my peoples. Who are my peoples? My family. That is everybody connected to the Whitmore, Pollard, Turner, Battle, Cotton, Harper, Bailey, Shaw, Walker, Thompson, Chris, Liggins, Lansdowne, Trotter, Brandon, Brandy, Lott, Wilson, Johnson, and Williams clan. As usual, we are in the building. Thank you for tuning in. If you're in the chat room, thank you. Salute. If you are on the Spreaker.com side, because I am simulcasting again, shout out to you for being on the Spreaker.com side. Hit that heart button, hit that like button, hit that share button, tell a friend to tune in. As usual, I have a mouthful and I'm going to get it out. I'm going to empty my mouth as usual. What I'm going to do, I'm going to thank you guys for tuning in every week. Thank you. Thank you, Alvin. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and being part of the show. It is greatly appreciated. Today's show is get ready, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We are in a fight. We are in a human rights fight. And what I mean by that is this. The human rights fight is, you call it civil rights, civilian rights, you can call it whatever you want. But what happened is this. We relaxed in the 60s and the 70s. In my personal opinion, we relaxed. We thought we made it. We were lulled into a sense of security. And meanwhile, people who were opposed to us being treated like human beings and other people who are labeled minorities, because there's no such thing as a minority. Nobody's minor. We fell asleep at the wheel, in my personal opinion. Again, these are just my opinions. And you know what? As I stated, I am going to drop the link in the show. And if you have an opinion you want to share, I want you to share it. I want you to pop in, talk to me, share your point of view. Hopefully you'll enlighten me. Now, as I was stating, we fell asleep at the wheel because we assumed we did what one of my favorite people that ever walked the earth said we did. He said this about Dr. King, the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., our ancestor. He said the only flaw in Dr. King was he was looking for people. He was looking for the humanity in his oppressor. We did the exact same thing. Dr. King was attacked by a few of our favorite people. The person who said that goes by the name of Kwame Ture. He's most commonly known as Stokely Carmichael. He said that he attacked Dr. King. At one point, he was Dr. King's right-hand man. He transitioned loving Dr. King. He had some, what we find out, what we end up doing, and I'm victim of this too. I'm guilty of this too. When you don't see it our way, we kind of attack you. I've had issues with people because I'll tongue lash you if you don't agree with me. I'm working on it. And great Malcolm X attacked Dr. King. At the time, he was Stokely Carmichael. He transitioned as Kwame Ture. He attacked Dr. King. Several people attack Dr. King every day. He never fights back. Never fights back in that fashion. He never goes back toe to toe because unlike most of us, the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. saw the big picture. The big picture was all of humanity being treated like human beings, especially people from our community. And like Fred Hampton, when he attempted to galvanize multiple communities, he was taken out. And what I want to do, I want to galvanize most communities, but I want to galvanize our community for once and for all. I want to defunct this idea of voting don't count. Hey, I always say this anytime I start talking about voting. I used to be one of the major people saying, hey man, screw that voting stuff, because I didn't educate myself. And I'm not saying everybody who's anti-voting isn't educated, But what I am saying is a lot of us who thought like I did at one point, we didn't do the research. What we did was open our mouth and put our brain on display. Great person once told me, don't shoot up your mouth without loading up your brain. And at that time, that's what I was doing. I was shooting off my mouth because I wasn't getting what I wanted. I saw my people still struggling. I understood that the United States federal government was not supporting my people the way the way the Constitution promised. And I heard people say things like, well, this is the only country where people think they're supposed to be happy. Well, it's this contract called the United States Constitution that guarantees life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's why people in this country think it is an inalienable right to be happy. And see, people think happiness is things, cars and gigantic houses and things of that nature. No, happiness is just peace. And a lot of our instances, a lot of us, I would argue about 99% of us will be happy getting up, going to a solid job, getting solid pay, going on vacation, take your children somewhere, hang out with your family, and we cool. We ain't ask, do we want to go to the corner store and play the lottery and win and never have any problems? You damn right we do. Some of us want to be multimillionaires, and that's cool. But a lot of us, most of us, just want to be left alone, right? So what we fail to realize as honorable people, as respectable people, as people who are quality human beings. I'm not saying anybody's better than anybody else, but we're quality human beings in this situation, right? What we have failed to realize in a lot of cases is this. The people who are anti-us in 1865 in May, when that Civil War ended, they saw that as a round. We saw that as a victory of the end of a war. They saw that as round one. And what they did was start organizing to keep you in your place. It's this lady, let me look up. I forgot her name. I said I was going to put her in my notes, but I didn't. I was listening to her yesterday. Her name is Caretha Mitchell. I'm going to reach out to Sister Dr. Caretha Mitchell. I'm going to reach out to Dr. Mitchell because she has this thing called in your place aggression. And what that is when people who are anti-humanity, and that's what they are, all this white nationalism and white supremacists and racists and bigotry. No, what they are is anti-humanity because they have issues with human beings. What they do is when you excel, they step up, galvanize, and get together so they can put you back in your place. Your success is a bell to like a fire alarm to them, so we can get together, we can knock down these people. And ironically, the Forecast did this movie last night called Antebellum. I didn't really dig the movie, but that has nothing to do with you may love it. One thing about that, it had this character played by Janelle Monáe, and she was a motivational speaker. And this dude who was enslaving our people, he was human trafficking. When he saw her on stage empowering a lot of black women, what he did was went and kidnapped her and put her in bondage. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. See, women's reproductive rights have been under attack for 50 years. First of all, if you don't have a uterus, I don't understand why we even comment about somebody's uterus. And if you do have a uterus, you need to be worried about your uterus and not mine or my wife's or my sister or my nieces or my nephew, not my nieces or cousins or friends, sisters or what have you. You need to be worried about yours. And that's the problem in this country. People worry about other people, what they do, what they lay, who they lay with, what they eat, everything. And we need to mind our own business first and foremost. That's the first thing. Second thing is this. We need to identify that we are in the midst of a fight. And what do I mean by we're in the midst of a fight? You have people attempting to put you back in bondage. We have people attempting to put you back in bondage. And it may not be a plantation situation or a death camp. Because see, a plantation is too pretty a word to describe what happened to us. Plantation sounds like it was peaceful interactions. And then if you watch this documentary called Who Are We? It's a white man literally standing there with a Confederate flag, standing in front of a Confederate monument saying slavery wasn't about hurting black people. We treated them like family. These are the people that I'm talking about. If you really believe slavery was about treating my people like family, you are outside your mind. But not only are you outside your mind, you are in denial. And this is what is happening to us. We're in denial that this war, this fight is a never-ending fight. This is a worldwide fight. We think it's in the United States of America because we're here. We only worry about the gumbo that's being cooked here, but this is an international fight. This is an international fight. And we can never take our foot off the gas. Just like you always trying to be a better person. You may be late. You may whatever your flaw is. I'm not going to go through a bunch of character flaws with people. But you're always trying to improve on those things. Or those things will consume you and destroy you, right? So, what we have to realize is the people who identify as white. Like I said, I don't know if I covered this on the show last week, but I'm going to cover it again. I'm waging war against people who identify as white. White in America is a weapon. White worldwide is a weapon. This is the only country where people say they're white and black and brown. This is not the Crayola crayon box. We're talking about human beings. You are German, you are French, you are Portuguese, you are Polish, or whatever your European heritage is. You're not white. Just like I'm not black. You can clearly see my skin is brown. So when you identify immediately as white, I'm taking it personal. I'm going to take it as a insult. The reason I do that is we just had Roe versus Wade overturned, and that was overturned and from 1973 when women had their right to have an abortion if they choose to. The funny thing is this. We hear about quote unquote minority communities not taking care of their children, or you need to take care of your children, and you need to do this, and you need to do that with your children. You need to raise your children properly. So the people who don't know how to raise their children, according to you want them to put more children in the world, which makes no sense at all, right? Makes no sense at all. But why are you caring about this? Then you have people like Tucker Carlson and others. Abraham, this replacement theory thing goes back to Abraham Lincoln. When he was in his debates to become president, he was talking about replacement theory. He literally said in one of his speeches, in one of his debates, black people I will not stand here and allow black people to replace us. That's a quote. So when you're looking at these things, this is an ongoing situation. These people who engage in this white nationalism, white power seeking, white cannibalism, white empowerment, all this negativity against humanity, they galvanize every chance they get. Initially, we helped them win this war. And what happened was this. The war ended. It was this period called Reconstruction. It was an 8-year period where black people stood up. And as we say today, we showed up and we showed out, right? We started becoming congressmen. We started opening businesses. We were doing the agricultural work. So they were starving. We were not. It was a beautiful time. And then they ended it. They ended Reconstruction. And then they came out with these things called black laws. And what are black laws? They outlaw standing around, loitering. So remember, the 14th Amendment said slavery is illegal unless you break the law. So you create a law. You release 4 million people into the world with no place to go, and then you create a law for loitering. So if you don't have a job, you can go to jail. When you go to jail, you'll be leased out to work for free. Hence, slavery reenacted. Then the Ku Klux Klan is invented. People don't understand that. The government funded the Ku Klux, the original alliteration of the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah. And then you got redlining. This isn't things that happenstance happen to hold us back. There are literally laws on the books that have intentional state by state laws saying if you cannot lend a black person money to buy a house in this portion. There, if you look closely, a lot of us, if we look closely at our mortgages, there is verbiage in the mortgage saying that you're not really supposed to live where you live. But it's being overlooked because people overlook things in the law all the time. Look, Roe versus Wade was under attack. Next thing you know, that's the Fair Housing Act. That's what did away with a lot of that redlining. Then you're going to the Contraceptive Act, the Same-Sex Marriage Act, the Civil Rights Act, and things of that nature. The reason I'm talking about these things because these people are galvanized. They are always organizing. They have had a 100-year plan. They are playing the long game. What we do as a community, as in working class people, what we do is this. We get Barack Obama in office. We get Harold Washington in office. We get David Diggins in office. We get Andrew Young in office or any other person of color. And we go, we've made it. And then we sit back and watch them do it. No, actually, that is when we start. Do you guys understand that in 1954, it was a case called Brown versus Board of Education, separate but equal. This is what integrated the schools, right? And when you integrated those schools, that's when you started a whole chain of events. One of the chain of events is the White Citizen Council. Now, when you talk about the White Citizen Council, these are not violent white people. These are not Klansmen. Actually, they were called the Uptown KKK, meaning they'll let their hillbilly and hick cousins do the hanging and the lynching, and they sit back and do paperwork and then do away with you. Understand that July 11th, the reason I brought this up is we just had July 11th last, a couple days ago. It's the 19th. July 11th, 1954 was the original alliteration of the White Citizens Council. Do you know by 1957 it was over 67,000 of these people? By the 60s, they had 750,000 people setting up things that fight things like critical race theory and things of that nature. They want, as a matter of fact, 3 years later, they had 250,000. The first year they had 60,000. 3 years later, they had 250,000 people. This is a group of people who are set up to do away with your happiness, do away with your peace, do away with your ability to educate your children, do away with your ability to live the American dream. And if they are going to do this in a 3-year period, get 250,000 people together to stop the integration of schools, which, hey, if you listen to our ancestor Carter G. Woodson, his brother who wrote, he's the guy who wrote the Miseducation of the Negro. If you listen to him, integration is not the friend of the black man. And it has never been the friend of the black man, if you ask me. Integration has never been a friend of the black man simply because the same education system that we integrate our children in, that teaches that empowers young European children and descendants of slave owners, devalues the ancestors and descendants of people who were enslaved. And look, you don't have to agree with me, but the facts are the facts. The facts remain that when we are dealing with people on this stage, they are always big me, little you. You found a lot of people talk to me and they say, yo, Rap, I learned some things from your show that I never knew in school. And I understand that, look, I appreciate the compliment, but everything that I'm teaching, everything that I introduce to you, because I'm not teaching, I'm introducing you to things. When I introduce you to something, those things have been stopped being, in the education process. They are no longer being taught, because when you learn what you can do, it empowers you. And when you become empowered, you can't be oppressed. And when you can't be oppressed, people think that you will do what they've done to them. Nah, we're not trying to look. It's not in our nature. White European people, people of European descent that are afraid that we're gonna do to you what you've done to us. We are not in the revenge business. If we were in the revenge business, you guys be in trouble already. We just want to be left alone. We want to be left to peace, and we want a fair opportunity. But you guys don't want to compete because you guys feel if we even, if we're even, we're leaving. But here's the deal: if you just sit back in peace and do what you need to do, we're not competing with you. Well, look, as I posted today, you don't have to be in competition with anybody but yourself. You need to try to be the best you can be instead of trying to stop people from being educated. You had judges, to be specific, a judge by the name, allow me to digress. Now, you had judges, specifically a judge by the name of Tom Brady, who set this thing in motion. We don't want our children over there with those darkies, and it's going to ruin things. I understand, man. I understand. If you don't look, I'm not even mad at racists or bigots or the people who practice discriminatory practices unless you're harming somebody. If you don't want anything to do with the rest of the universe, that's cool. Sit in your cubby hole, cool out. Don't leave your community and rot away, because if you don't look, one of the best things about knowing people from other cultures is it allows you to mentally grow. And when you mentally grow, you continue to live. If you never mentally grow, you just wither away and die. That's just nature, people. This ain't HRap. I'm not saying something profound, but what we have to do is put ourselves in position to consistently be able to fight. If they can get together on anti-humanity, what we can do is get together on humanity. I say this every week, man, because we are at an inflection point. 1965 was an inflection point. Either the country was going to give us civil rights, civilian rights, or we were going to have to fight. That's why our great ancestor Malcolm X said it's either the ballot or the bullet. People think, oh man, no, you were going to have to fight for what you need. At some point, you were going to stop getting those hoses put on you. Dr. King, he never uttered the words, but I read this book called Chaos or Community. If that's not the Dr. King that you've been introduced to, that's a curated Dr. King that you've been introduced to. Ballot or the bullet, Dr. King was about to be on that page. And see, what I want you guys to understand is we have to, we don't have a choice but to organize and get things galvanized so we can move forward. What I'll do, as I do every week, introduce you to some more information. I'll be right back shortly. This is the End of the Bench podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that share button, tell a friend. I'll be back shortly. I'm back. This is your man HRap B coming at you live and direct. This is Built for This Network. This is the Inner Bench Podcast, Build and Destroy, where I attempt to build up the community and destroy the lies and propaganda. As you see, greatness is a part of us. We've saved this country several times. We saved this country in the Revolutionary War where immunization, smallpox broke out. We talked the Union soldiers or the Revolutionary soldiers, how they immunized themselves. Smallpox didn't take them out. They won the war. We helped fight. We actually turned down opportunity for freedom with King George. He said he would take the indigenous people and the Africans and free them. And we sided with the Union soldiers because they said the same thing. And here we are. Civil War comes around, same thing. We get free, and then they destroy what we had going. Then we do the World War I, World War II, so forth and so on. We consistently save this country, and we're not taught these things. Again, if you're taught these things, then you'll feel empowered. Once you feel empowered, you're unstoppable. If you're unstoppable, then you will see the fact that, yes, we were in Mexico in the Yucatan jungles, the jungles of the Yucatan, and you can see pyramids and remnants of us there. And guess what? We left, no problem. We were in Vietnam, same thing. We were in China, same thing. We were in Japan, same thing. We were in Denver and Arizona and the Grand Canyon. Those are very, 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 very little known facts. We were in California 300,000 years or 200,000 years ago. So wherever we went, all we did was make friends, trade, and then go back home peacefully. Whereas a lot of these people from our brothers and sisters from the continent of Europe, a lot of them, especially here in the Americas, they came over here and basically destroyed everything in their path. So what we have to do is galvanize the community and stop with this. Look, I always incorporate some hip hop. I don't know how I'm incorporating hip hop into this, but I always incorporate the word of God in this, right? And it's not because when I'm doing this, it's just who I am, and I'm growing in the word. So I'm gonna quote Samson. There's nothing new under the sun. Samson, this is in your Bible. You know what I mean? And there's nothing new under the sun. So I'm gonna need our brothers and sisters to stop this nonsense of back in the day we used to be unified. No, we were not. We were pushed into one era, but it wasn't this aura of everybody was friends and everybody kumbaya and things of that nature. Now, have we stepped away from our traditions, our rituals and things of that nature, like cookouts, block parties, rent parties, going to places that are patronized? We were forced to patronize with each other. That doesn't mean that we didn't want to. You know, we were thriving to get to other places. Now, the world isn't worse than what it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 75 years, whatever. It's not worse. You are aware of what's going on now. Social media allows you to see the violence that's going on in our community. Look at places like Baltimore, Detroit, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Just to name 4 places that we permeate. We run those towns. And there's always been a little violence there, right? But the difference is this: when you're forced to work together and then you have the option to leave each other, smart people stay together because you realize that, again, there's nothing new under the sun. And every time you separate from the pack, 1 or 2 sheep get slaughtered. And again, to quote the word of God, teach your children right. And even if they go astray, they'll come back. That's why they come back, because they go out there and get their butt kicked, and them wolves get on their behind. Oh, let me get back to where there's a bunch of sheep and I get some help. So the reason I'm bringing that up is this: our young men and our young women are dying at an alarming fact. They're attacking us from both ends. The way they're attacking our young men is they're taking away everything in which they're taking away a lot of things in which you can earn and educate yourself and move forward in this world by academics, music, science. Science is part of music, art, academia, and then vocation. That they've taken those things away from our young men and women, and then what they did was flood our communities with drugs, dismay, guns, and things of that nature. And these young men are run amok. A lot of our older men, my age, middle age, and a little younger, middle age, 60s, 70s dudes. Y'all know my theory. If you were born between the years of 1960 and 1979, we dropped the ball. But I'm not going to go into that. Those young men have been left alone because a lot of people, we keep looking at these young men, well, you don't listen. Well, you didn't listen. Most of us didn't listen to our parents. Otherwise, there would be no, I would still be doing sports, because then I would have no option but to do sports, because who want to hear me complain about 10, 11% of the population, right? So we dropped the ball with our young men. And how they attacking the young, this Roe versus Wade thing, do y'all know black women are 75 times more likely to die in childbirth? Everybody will see they trying to build up their numbers, but no. If you are 75 times more likely to die giving birth as a Nubian queen, as a black woman, as a descendant of an African in the United States of America, that's how Roe versus Wade does you in as well, because it's a lot of these sex sisters with these what I think is called tubligation. We have these babies, and you got to destroy the child to let the human being continue to live. Oh, well, we need to let that baby live. No, we're not sacrificing any lives that are here, because that person can provide guidance through someone else. That person can help someone get through a tough period. See, it's easy to say what we can and cannot do, what is and is not useful, when we're not thinking properly. We must get together, because another way they're destroying us is with these patter rollers. That if you're not familiar with the term patter roller, that's the original alliteration of the police. The police were never designed to do you any good. People, oh man, the system needs to be redone. No, the system needs to be thrown away, balled up, thrown into the garbage, and then rebuilt. Because if you build a system on capturing African bodies when they walk up, you have look, they had two laws. Drakedomania, that means you refuse oppression. So you had a mental disorder because you didn't want to bow down to the system. And then they had another law, the Fugitive Slave Act. And I mean, there's several laws on the books that says when a black person resists what you say, you have the right to kill them, and it's not a felony. So look, these are the things that we are witnessing in real time, and it's still not a felony to kill a black person. George Zimmerman, several race soldiers, aka the police. It's going on. When you look, anybody who disagreeing, if like I said, man, I'll put the link in there. I ain't gonna play no more. There go the link. If you disagree and you want to come on here and talk with me, hey, you're welcome. That's the link in there. And the people on the Spreaker.com side, come to the YouTube side, and I will. You can get in it. You can come over here and talk too. But I appreciate y'all supporting on both ends. Now, when we look at these pattern rollers, and if you disagree with what I'm saying, I'm gonna give you a few things. A couple weeks ago, young brother by the name of Jalen Walker. Whatever he was doing, he wasn't doing something that was wise. He ended up breaking and running from the police on more than one occasion over the weekend. But the second time he did, he got hit with 60 bullets and 90 rounds shot at him. What that tells me, this is something that's been on my mind for quite some time. What that tells me is this: the hiring position, the hiring situation in the police department nationwide has gone astray. Because, for one, when you're ex-military, you're trained to kill. When you're ex-military, when you're military, you're trained to kill. You're not trained to rally anything, diffuse anything, serve and protect anything. You are a kid, like as they say, lean, mean, killing machine. So they are acting as they are following their training. When you're military, you get an open door right to the police department. And then you're getting weapons that you were using in war or in training for war, and then you are hitting the streets of the United States of America, and you are looking at black and brown and Asian bodies, at black, African, Asian, and indigenous bodies as the enemy. Let's just be serious, man. Because if you got an open door to the police department, then what's going on? You coming over here, you killing these people because they mean nothing to you. Their bodies mean nothing. Their lives mean nothing. Do you understand a black person in the United States of America is killed every 40 hours by the police department? And people saying, look, I ain't saying defund the police. Damn that. I'm not saying defund the police. I'm saying abolish the police and rebuild the system. Because the system was built on oppression and destruction of our people. You can't redo that. You can't redo it. Hey, when the dog got the mange, you don't try to get him back healthy. You kill him and then get you a new dog. This dog got the mange. I'm just telling you, every 40 hours, y'all, every 2 brothers get killed after you get a paycheck. Think about that. Every time you get your paycheck, it's 2 brothers, it's 2 less black people on earth in America. And y'all want to rebuild that? Do you understand? $5 billion in the city, CITY of New York. $5 billion is spent on police. Not much of that is spent on mental health, not much crisis management, psychologists, psychiatrists, sociologists. Not a lot. That is not a lot of that money allocated to that. It's allocated to guns, tank, RVs, bulletproof vests, and things of that nature. Helmets, sticks to bust you upside your head, and let's not forget, it's allocated to paying out those fines after these people die. See, this is what we talking about. This is what we talking about. And then here's the thing. Do you know, these are true facts, people. These are true facts. You are 3.5 times more likely to get shot and killed not resisting. 3.5 times more likely to be exterminated when you're not resisting and you black. Listen to that, y'all. When you're doing the stuff that we tell our children to do, hey man, just obey and then go with the rules and let them see your hands, you are 3 times more likely to get popped. This is what I'm saying, man. Do you understand? Last week, that was last week. Last week in New Mexico, the police did a no-knock warrant, threw flash grenades into a house, set the house on fire. When all the smoke clears, a 14-year-old boy who they were not looking for dead. Did you hear about that? No, you didn't. No, you didn't, man. Because we're the target of terrorist acts. And this is why, hey man, that voting thing, look, I got mad respect for a brother like Tariq Nasheed because he's accomplished more than I have at this point. At this point, Tariq, respect, brother, but I shout you out every week. Every week I shout you out. So I got mad respect for what you've done. I'm gonna catch you and I'm gonna pass you. And that's the competition we need to be having. See who can help the people the most. And I'm in competition with Tariq because Tariq has put out information that has enlightened me and millions of other people in the community. So big ups to Tariq Nasheed. Ice Cube, this whole your vote thing. Cube, man. Dude, I've been rocking with Ice Cube since he was in CIA. See, most people don't even know Ice Cube was in this crew called CIA, Criminals in Action. That's pre-NWA. So I got mad respect for Ice Cube. Man, it took a rap career. He in cinema. He done created his own basketball league. Big ups to Ice Cube. But this whole your vote thing. Look, I told y'all, man, we like I was talking to my bro Keith. Big ups to Nat for her ordaining or ordainment or whatever it is. She's an ordained minister now. Big ups to Nat. We in the backyard celebrating that, and me and Keith and Mark, our big brother, we talking, right? And we were saying, man, that look, at this point, I said this on the show last week, at this point, what we're going to have to do is, look, at one point, COINTELPRO was created. They infiltrated. They used to infiltrate things as simple as our barbershop. They send federal agents to sit in our barbershops and find out what we're doing, because that's what we commiserate. That's what we get down. You know what I'm saying? It's the elders get to talking. The younger people get put a straw in their mouth. What that means is you shut up until you're allowed to talk. And then there's an education process, and there's a hierarchy that goes along in that barbershop. And sisters was doing the same thing in the hairdressers, but the sisters was organizing. You know what I mean? It just wasn't jibber jabber. The sisters was over in them hairdressing places getting things organized. What we're gonna have to do is infiltrate the Democratic Party, because the white nationalist party that's called the Republican Party, the Grand Old Party, those white nationalists over there trying to destroy us. Democratic Party watching them destroy us, and they don't have any. But what we can do is infiltrate them. As I stated last week, we need to infiltrate them. We need to get a little crew of people, block club president, and then we get somebody to run for alderman. And he gonna go up under the Democratic thing, and when they see everybody behind him, they gonna get money behind him, and he's gonna be our guy. We see the thing. We see this in effect. They did it with the Tea Party, but we need to get the We Party. But we ain't got to announce it. We just gonna organize just like the terrorists do. They have terrorist cells, and they have those cells in place. Everybody got one mission. And I'm not saying we not blowing up a damn thing. What we're gonna do is blow up peace. What we're gonna do is blow up education. What we're gonna do is blow up fairness and humanity. That's what we're gonna blow up. But what we have to do is get their money behind us so we can do it. Go in just like they do. Cinema in Arizona and Mansion in West Virginia. They doing the same thing. They got the D's by their name, but they got the Republican get down. They're using guys like Herschel Walker, God bless his soul, and he's a pawn at this point. What I don't understand is look, man, this is not a game. This is not a game, people. They got this guy Herschel Walker, and look, Herschel Walker. Please don't think I'm dissing this brother Herschel Walker, because he's still a brother. Herschel Walker is playing a game that he don't even know he's playing. Do y'all understand Herschel Walker? He follows me on Twitter. Me and him had a conversation about this. Herschel Walker has a personality disorder. He has 27 personalities. So we don't even know which Herschel Walker's standing there. And I'm not being funny. I'm not trying to diss that brother. Herschel Walker is being used. He's not mentally capable of doing what he's saying doing. So if you're going to put a mentally inadequate person and put them in office, that means that they got somebody pulling strings in the background. That means you're in jeopardy. People in Georgia, I'm going to need y'all to get up off y'all behinds and vote. All this, look, it's a long game. It is not a short game. We have children, we have grandchildren, we have kids, we have nieces, nephews, and cousins and sisters that's fighting, that are younger than us, that's going to have to deal with the ramifications of a Herschel Walker being in office. If you think this, look, all y'all hate Trump, and man, Trump was a racist, and Trump this, and Trump that. Okay, they got a dude that made Donald Trump look like a genius. This dude has literally lied. I graduated from college. No, you didn't. I owned a black company. No, you didn't. I worked with the police. No, you didn't. I owned the biggest black wing company in the world. No, you didn't. He didn't do that. And then he's still going to get 40 million votes. Exactly. We have to look. We can't say, hey man, you can't be a one item shopper when it comes to this. Well, you ain't give me my reparations check, so Joe Biden, I don't like him. Look, Joe Biden I'm not, if anybody have watched this show more than twice, you know I don't rock with Joe Biden at all. But Joe Biden has done a lot of great things for us, and they keep us to the background. This is how you know the Democratic Party and the Republican Party are working hand in hand. Because who doesn't? This is politics. You two, if you don't toot your own horn, it will be no music. But he ain't even tooting his own horn, which lets you know he's up with the beeswax. Joe Biden and William Jefferson Clinton and his wife and a bunch of other brothers, some of them brothers, Maxine Waters, that dude who took out Clayton Powell job, Clayton Jr. job out of New York, Ranther. Y'all was down with the damn crime bill in 1992. I ain't forgot that. I'm in the wrong place. I would be saying some other things. But these people they ain't on our team. But what we can do is do just like Rafael Cruz did in Texas, the Tea Party. And now he rolling with the Republicans, but he a Tea Party advocate. But it's just, hey, but look at it this way. I keep telling y'all this. 60 million Germans in Germany. It's 11 million Irish in Ireland. There's, I think, 32 million Englishmen in England. And it's 45 to 60 million black people, descendants of enslaved Africans here in America. So if we get together and get behind each party and each community, we can get this done. We can get this done. Now, another thing right before I end the show is this is how we get it done. The government is being run by lobbyists. Lobbyists run this country. I know I usually promise you guys, you know what, I'm going to still do the video. I'm going to do it at the end of the show, but because I promised somebody I'm going to go on their show after this. But the government is being run by lobbyists, right? And those lobbyists, and this is what those lobbyists are doing. Those lobbyists control everything. They put money behind everything. So what we're going to do is this. It's cliche, but you've seen it on social media. We're going to get life insurance. And what we're going to do is get life insurance on everybody in those insurance companies. Insurance companies don't want to pay nothing. If they can get away with paying, why do you think you have to wear a seatbelt? You don't wear a seatbelt because the United States government woke up one morning and said, man, we sick of these people dying. You know what? Insurance companies, car insurance companies, they lobbied to get car insurance mandatory. And then people weren't wearing seatbelts, and they was flying out those windshields and dying in those car accidents. And they was like, oh, wait a minute. Y'all better make seatbelts mandatory so we cut down on some of these deaths. And that's what happened. So if we start getting life insurance on all our young people, when our young people when you get pulled over, you calm. Because guess what? Aetna, MetLife, Allstate, and anybody else who will insure you, they're going to be like, oh, you better stop shooting. Another thing, abortion. This lady got pulled over. She was 6 months pregnant. I'm sorry. She was 6 months pregnant. After the Roe versus Wade, that is a human in her body, according to the law. Now they try to say, well, that's not vehicular law. That's law with civil law. But she can fight this, and we can get behind her. And say, hey, y'all say as a person, we can take that to the Supreme Court, right? Another thing you could take to the Supreme Court, in vitro. It's a bunch of Petri dishes sitting around with fertilized eggs that are frozen, that are waiting for a body. Those are people, according to, hey, y'all need to, whoever put those eggs in there waiting to have them, y'all better get all of them fertilized. Y'all better put all those eggs in your body and have a child. People start doing that because that's a rich thing, right? Ain't no poor people doing that. People who get up and go to work, they ain't got $10,000 to freeze no damn eggs and wait till my financial situation is in better intact. We can't do it. We ain't got the money. Another thing is this. How many times have you seen people have 2 and 3 and 4 miscarriages? Just imagine. I'm pregnant, go get the life insurance policy on that human that's inside your body, because that's a human. According to y'all, you can't have no abortion. So if you have an abortion, you trip and fall. You know, first time I ever got someone impregnated. They tripped, fell, they was playing around with a cousin, tripped and fell, had a miscarriage. Hey, we could have got $1 million off that. I'm not trying to be morbid and say, hey man, we can come up. It's not a lick. But when you get the same people who lobby to oppress you to fight for your rights, watch a lot of this stuff slow down. And as it slows down, then we galvanize. We working together. And as we work together, what happens? We work together and we get things done. And we get things done, things start to happen. And we never give up the fight. That's all I'm saying, people. We must continue. Don't just listen to HRap show every Tuesday. Invite somebody to HRap show. And I'm not trying to say this Yeah, I want my show to be wildly popular. So don't think I'm just doing it. I love the people. No, I want my show to be popular, right? And that's why I'm gonna start adding a little levity to this. Queen said I gotta add some levity to this to make this thing pop. So I gotta do it. So make it a little more fun. It's not gonna be me preaching, but we're gonna have a little fun. But what I do need is this. I need us to get together and see, look, everybody in your faith. Everybody ain't a Christian. Everybody ain't a Muslim. Everybody ain't a Jehovah's Witness. Everybody ain't a Catholic. Everybody's not everything. But what everybody is want to be left alone and want to have a peaceful and happy life. So what we have to do is put our differences to the side and put our alliances in front. All of us want to protect our children. All the men want to protect the ladies in their lives. All the ladies want their men coming home and their sons coming home and their nephews coming home and their nephews' friends and cousins and homeboys. They want them coming home because that's what ladies do. We don't want none of our buddies. We don't want nothing to happen to any of our people. So if your goal is to make sure you don't have to go to any funerals, if your goal is to make sure you have peace in your community, continue to invite people to the HRap show every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Tomorrow is going to be phase 2 of my community conversation with young people. It's going to be young ladies. Keisha going to host it. Me and BJ not going to be on tomorrow, but she's going to be on with 4 young women. I have 4 young men, 5 young men talking. She has 4 young women talking. We're going to talk to young people to galvanize this community to make sure we can continue to exist. The fight starts now. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I see y'all tomorrow at 7:30, not 8:30. No, me and BJ usually on 7:30. 7:30. Because we have to talk to the young people to bridge the gap. Older men and women, we must stand in the gap. And then I'm looking for 4 men, and then we're gonna do 4 women, and then we're gonna get our thing, because we're gonna end this fake, this curated civil war between black men and black women. We don't like it. Y'all ain't no good black men out here. Ain't no good black women out here. Y'all outside y'all damn minds. Some good people everywhere you turn. But if you turn it over garbage cans, you ain't gonna find no good. You might find 1 rose in the garbage one day. But hey, man, what we gonna do is have these conversations. We're going to have these conversations, and we're going to get this community in order. Thank y'all for tuning in. I want to salute the people who I get inspiration from. The Ghetto Boys, Tariq Nasheed, Nori, Talia Paulie, Ray Grady, Zoe Williams, Corey Holcomb, Craig Smith, Al Shaw, the Heather B. Man, one of my favorite people on the radio, Clay Kane. Another one of my favorite people on the radio, sister who runs the Law Center for Justice, Larry Daniel Favors, one of the most informed people you will ever come across, Dr. Greg Carr. Google that man. Google Dr. Greg Carr. I swear to God. Karen Hunter, who's the queen mother of this whole black empowerment thing. She a combination Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Maya Angelou, man. I'm telling you, she fierce. And the dean of this whole thing, he called it BAP, Black Empowerment Radio, I mean, BAR, Black Action Radio, his Black Action Podcast. But he the man. Dr. Joe Madison. Look, go get Joe Madison's book, Radioactive. Radioactive. Go get it, man. Because he's been on the radio since most of us were children, and he's been an activist since most of us are children. He ran in several branches of the NAACP. Look, get involved, get into it, man. It's your man HRap B. Y'all already know how I end every show. 2 fingers, 1 word. And the world is full of negativity, so you're going to have to be present. But you don't have to be available. 2 fingers, 1 word. It's your man HRap. I am out.
Ubiquitous Network for the strong, not the weak.